Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Speak Smart podcast. Today, we're diving deep into something I know a lot of us think about a lot, how to unlock our full potential and lead a truly extraordinary life. You, our listener, are clearly on that path.
Right.
And you've sent over a fantastic piece outlining 10 daily habits to make it happen.
Okay.
It's about mindset, skill building, health, relationships, focus,
Okay.
the whole package. So to help us really unpack these ideas and figure out how to make them work for you, I've got an expert with me.
Right.
What's fascinating about this approach, what you say, is it's not about reaching one specific goal,
Yeah.
but an ongoing commitment to self-improvement.
It is. It's about constantly striving to be better than yesterday, a continual upward trajectory. That requires a real shift in mindset, which is where this whole thing starts, right?
Absolutely. And I love how the text uses this vivid image of the mind as a garden. We can choose to plant seeds of doubt or seeds of possibility, courage, and growth. It's a powerful reminder that we have control over what we cultivate. But how do we actually make that shift from doubt to possibility? It's easy to say,
Yeah.
but harder to actually put into practice.
It is. It's about consciously choosing empowering thoughts.
Yeah.
And really challenging that negative self-talk. One technique that's helped me is actually writing down those negative thoughts and then reframing them into positive affirmations. It feels a little silly at first, but over time, it really can rewire your thinking.
That's a fantastic tip. And it reminds me of the story in the text about that young man who turned his life around by changing his mindset. He went from feeling stuck and defeated to starting his own successful business in just a year. It shows that these concepts aren't just fluffy feel-good stuff. They can actually lead to tangible results.
Exactly. It's about putting these ideas into action. It's not enough to just understand them intellectually. You have to apply them consistently in your life.
So, we've talked about mindset, which is the foundation. But what about the practical skills we need to succeed? The material really emphasizes continuous skill development, especially in today's world where everything's changing so rapidly. It can feel overwhelming to even know where to start.
It can, but the key is not trying to be a master of everything. Instead, focus on identifying the skills that are truly crucial for your specific goals, and then dedicating time each day to improving them.
I love how the text suggests setting aside just 15 minutes each day for focused skill development. It doesn't sound like much,
Yeah.
but it really highlights the power of consistency over intensity.
Exactly. It's like that saying, little by little, a little becomes a lot.
Yeah.
The text also shares the story of an entrepreneur who tripled his business by consistently honing his marketing and financial literacy skills a little bit each day. It really highlights how those small, consistent efforts can have a huge impact over time.
Wow, that's incredible. It really shows how investing in our skills, even in small increments, can pay off in a big way.
Yeah.
But of course, we can't pour all our energy into work and skill building without taking care of ourselves. That's where health comes in, right? The piece uses this great analogy of the body as a vehicle, needing regular maintenance to run smoothly. But how do we make time for that when life's already so busy?
It's about making small conscious choices throughout your day. You don't have to overhaul your entire lifestyle overnight. Start with something simple like swapping sugary drinks for water, taking the stairs instead of the elevator, or even just adding a 15-minute walk to your routine. It's about those small wins that add up over time.
It all adds up. And it's not just about the physical aspect. It's also about our energy levels, our mental clarity, our overall well-being. I'm speaking of the woman in the text whose career really took off after she started prioritizing her health. She began eating better, exercising regularly, and making sure she got enough sleep. It's amazing how those seemingly small changes made such a huge difference in her life.
It makes sense when you think about it. When we feel good physically, it creates a ripple effect throughout our lives. It impacts our work, our relationships, our ability to handle stress. We just function better on every level.
It's like everything starts falling into place. So we've covered mindset, skills, and health, all crucial pieces of the puzzle for social creatures, right? We thrive on connection. So
Yeah.
let's move on to another essential aspect, relationships. What resonated with me in the text was how it emphasizes nurturing all our relationships.
Yes.
Not just romantic ones, but family,
Yeah.
friends, colleagues, even our relationship with ourselves.
I agree. It's about recognizing that fundamental human need for connection and putting in the effort to build and maintain healthy, supportive relationships in all areas of our lives. And that's about action, not just good intentions. The text suggests becoming a better listener, expressing appreciation more often, and learning how to resolve conflicts constructively.
Those are such practical, actionable tips. It reminds me of the story about that CEO who transformed his entire company culture by focusing on building stronger relationships. He made a point of building empathy, recognizing his employees' contributions, and fostering collaboration. It's amazing how that one shift in focus led to such incredible results, not just for him personally, but for the entire organization.
It's a powerful example of how our relationships can have a profound impact on our success and well-being. When we feel connected, supported, and valued, it creates a positive feedback loop that benefits everyone involved.
Absolutely. It's a great reminder that our success is often intertwined with the success of those around us. We're not isolated individuals. We're part of a larger web of interconnectedness. But even with all that support, in a world of constant distractions, it's so easy to get pulled in a million different directions, which is why I think the text's emphasis on focus is so crucial. It calls it a superpower. And I think that's spot on. What are your thoughts on that?
I completely agree. Our attention is constantly bombarded with information, notifications, demands on our time. Learning to focus is essential for getting anything meaningful done. And it's a skill you can train. The text suggests starting small, maybe with just 5 minutes of focused work, and gradually increasing that time. It also talks about creating distraction-free environments, turning off notifications, and using techniques like the Pomodoro method, where you work in focused bursts with short breaks in between.
Those are great tips. I think a lot of us struggle with that always-on mentality. So learning to disconnect and focus is so crucial. I remember reading in the text about a writer who is incredibly talented, but struggled to finish her novel because of constant distractions. By implementing some of these focus techniques, she was able to complete her book in just 6 months. It's inspiring to see how mastering that one skill can lead to such a significant accomplishment.
It really highlights the transformative power of focus. When we can direct our attention effectively, we unlock incredible potential. It's like channeling all our energy into a laser beam, allowing us to achieve things we never thought possible. It's like that idea of flow state that athletes talk about, when you're so focused on the task at hand that everything else fades away, and you're completely in the zone. It's a powerful feeling.
It is. And it's not just for athletes or artists. It's something we can all tap into when we cultivate that laser focus. And speaking of cultivating, let's talk about habits. The text really drives home this point that our lives are essentially a collection of our habits. And by improving those habits, we can create profound change. It's both empowering and a little daunting. Wouldn't you say?
It is. It makes you realize how much control you actually have over your life. When you focus on those small daily actions, it's not about making huge, sweeping changes overnight, but about consistent, incremental improvements over time. It's that slow and steady approach that ultimately wins the race.
I love how the text emphasizes that it's not about being perfect. It's about making progress. It's about setting realistic goals, creating systems to support those goals, and celebrating those small wins along the way. I think we often get caught up in striving for perfection, which can be paralyzing. But when we shift our focus to progress, it becomes much more manageable and sustainable.
Exactly. And one key to making those habits stick is repetition. The more we repeat a behavior, the more ingrained it becomes. It's like carving a path in the woods. The more you walk that path, the clearer and more defined it becomes.
That's such a great analogy. And it reminds me of that story in the text about the struggling student who managed to completely turn his academic performance around by systematically improving his study habits, one small change at a time. It really underscores the power of consistency and how those seemingly small adjustments can lead to incredible results.
It's incredibly inspiring. It shows that no matter where we're starting from, we have the ability to change our lives by changing our habits. We have more control than we often realize.
Absolutely. And that brings us to another powerful habit, knowledge. The text emphasizes the importance of continuous learning, of always seeking out new information. That expands our understanding of the world and our ability to navigate it successfully. But in a world overflowing with information, how do we even begin to sift through it all and focus on what's truly valuable?
It's a challenge for sure. It's about being discerning about the information we consume and making a conscious effort to seek out knowledge that aligns with our goals and values. It's not just about accumulating random facts. It's about deepening our understanding and developing our critical thinking skills.
I appreciate how the text encourages us to make learning a daily practice. It suggests reading books, listening to podcasts like this one, hopefully engaging in thoughtful discussions, and just staying curious about the world around us. It's about cultivating that thirst for knowledge and seeing every experience as an opportunity to learn and grow.
Exactly. It's about cultivating that mindset of lifelong learning. Remember the story in the text about that young professional who felt stuck in her career? By committing to expanding her knowledge base every single day, reading industry publications, taking online courses, and attending webinars, she not only earned a promotion, but also identified a lucrative new market opportunity for her company.
That's a fantastic example of how investing in our knowledge can unlock new doors and create incredible opportunities, both personally and professionally. It really shows how knowledge is power, especially in today's rapidly evolving world. But of course, it's not always going to be smooth sailing. There will be challenges and setbacks along the way. That's where resilience comes in, right? The text defines it as our ability to bounce back from adversity, adapt to change, and keep going when things get tough. It's about having that mental and emotional fortitude to weather the storms.
And just like any skill, resilience can be developed and strengthened over time. It's about making a conscious choice to view setbacks not as failures, but as opportunities for growth and learning. It's about asking ourselves, what can I learn from this experience? How can I use this to become stronger and more adaptable?
I love how the text encourages us to challenge ourselves regularly.
Yeah.
To step outside our comfort zones, to embrace discomfort as a catalyst for growth. It's about pushing those boundaries.
Yeah.
Knowing that we have the strength to handle whatever comes our way.
Absolutely. It's about shifting from a why me mentality to a what can I learn from this mindset. It's about focusing on solutions rather than dwelling on problems. Remember that powerful story about the athlete who suffered a devastating injury? Instead of letting it defeat him, he channeled all his energy into his rehabilitation, his mental preparation, and ultimately made a remarkable comeback, even stronger than before.
That story always sends chills down my spine. It's a testament to the incredible power of the human spirit and our ability to overcome even the most daunting obstacles. And it highlights the importance of having that unwavering belief in ourselves and our ability to bounce back.
It's about recognizing that setbacks are an inevitable part of life, but they don't define us. It's how we respond to them that shapes our character and determines our success.
So true. And it's important to remember that building resilience isn't about becoming impervious to pain or hardship. It's about developing the tools and strategies to navigate those challenges effectively and emerge from them stronger and wiser. Speaking of tools, let's move on to a tool that's becoming increasingly valuable in today's world: creativity. The text positions it as more than just a nice to have, but as an essential skill for navigating an increasingly complex and automated world.
Absolutely. In a world where routine tasks are being automated, it's those who can think outside the box, innovate, and come up with creative solutions that will thrive. And the beautiful thing is, creativity isn't some innate talent reserved for a select few. It's a skill that we can all develop and nurture with consistent practice.
I love how the text emphasizes that creativity isn't just for artists or musicians. It's something we can all benefit from. Regardless of our profession or passion, it's about seeing things from a fresh perspective, finding new connections, and coming up with innovative solutions to everyday problems. It's about cultivating that childlike sense of wonder and playfulness, and allowing our imaginations to run wild.
Exactly. And it doesn't have to be about grand, sweeping gestures. It can be about finding creative solutions to everyday challenges, bringing a fresh perspective to a work project, or even just trying a new recipe in the kitchen. It's about fostering that spirit of exploration and experimentation in all areas of our lives.
And it reminds me of that amazing story in the text about the business owner who was struggling to stand out in the crowded market. By actively working on cultivating his creativity, he came up with a completely revolutionary product that disrupted his entire industry. It's incredible how one spark of creative inspiration can lead to such transformative change.
It really highlights that we all have that potential for creative breakthroughs. It's about creating the space and the conditions for those breakthroughs to occur.
It's about trusting our intuition, embracing those aha moments, and not being afraid to experiment and try new things. It's about remembering that there's always more than one way to solve a problem, and sometimes the most unconventional approach leads to the most brilliant results. So, we've covered a lot of ground here: mindset, skills, health, relationships, focus, habits, knowledge, resilience, creativity. These are all powerful tools for personal growth and transformation. But ultimately, I think it all comes down to this: how do we use those tools to make a positive impact on the world? That's where the final habit on our list comes in: contribution. The text reminds us that it's not just about what we achieve personally, but about how we use our gifts and talents to make a difference in the lives of others.
I completely agree. It's about recognizing that we're all interconnected. and that our actions have a ripple effect that extends far beyond ourselves. It's about shifting our focus from what's in it for me to how can I add value to the world.
And those contributions don't have to be grand, sweeping gestures. Sometimes the smallest acts of kindness, the words of encouragement, the willingness to lend a helping hand can have the most profound impact on someone's life.
Exactly. It's about making a conscious effort to be a positive force in the world, in whatever way feels authentic and meaningful to us. It's about looking for those opportunities to make a difference, whether it's through volunteering, mentoring, supporting a cause we believe in, or simply brightening someone's day with a smile or a kind word.
I'm reminded of the story in the text about the highly successful executive who, despite achieving all the external markers of success, wealth, status, power, felt a deep sense of emptiness. It wasn't until he shifted his focus to making a contribution, to giving back to his community and mentoring younger generations, that he finally found that sense of purpose and fulfillment he had been seeking.
It's a beautiful illustration of how true fulfillment often comes not from what we acquire, but from what we contribute. It's about aligning our actions with our values and living a life that feels purposeful and meaningful.
It's about recognizing that we have a responsibility to use our gifts and talents, not just for our own benefit, but for the betterment of the world around us.
It's about leaving the world a little bit better than we found it.
I love that. So we've explored these 10 habits in depth, and I think there's a lot for you, our listener, to ponder and consider. But before we dive into the next part, what are some key takeaways that really stand out to you from this conversation?
I think one of the most important messages is that self-improvement is a choice. It's not something that just happens to us. We actively create it through our daily decisions and actions. It's about taking ownership of our lives and recognizing that we have the power to shape our destiny.
I love that. It's about recognizing that we're not just passive passengers on this journey of life. We're the drivers. We have the power to choose our destination and chart our own course.
Exactly. And another crucial point that resonated with me is that small, consistent actions really can lead to extraordinary results. We don't have to make these huge, drastic changes overnight. It's about focusing on those small, daily improvements, those tiny steps that over time compound into significant growth.
It's like that saying, Rome wasn't built in a day. It's about trusting the process and celebrating each milestone along the way.
Absolutely. And it's important to remember that self-improvement isn't a selfish pursuit. When we work on ourselves, we become better partners, parents, friends, colleagues, and community members. Our personal growth has a ripple effect, positively impacting those around us.
I love that perspective. It's like a beautiful cycle of positive change where everyone benefits from our commitment to becoming the best versions of ourselves. But, even with the best intentions, it's easy to get overwhelmed. There are so many areas we could focus on. What advice would you give to our listener who's maybe feeling a bit paralyzed by all these different habits and not sure where to start?
That's a great question, and it's something I think a lot of people struggle with. My advice would be to start with 1 or 2 habits that really resonate with you, that feel aligned with your values and goals. Don't try to do everything at once.
That makes sense. It's about choosing those areas where you feel most drawn to grow and where you think you can make the biggest impact.
Exactly. And remember, it's a journey, not a race. Be patient with yourself, celebrate your progress, and don't be afraid to adjust your approach along the way. There's no one-size-fits-all formula for self-improvement. It's about finding what works best for you and your unique circumstances.
That's such a great point. It's about honoring your own individual path and recognizing that what works for one person might not work for another. And speaking of individual paths, the text also talks about the importance of finding mentors and role models, people who embody the qualities we admire and who can inspire us on our own journeys. What are your thoughts on that?
I think having mentors and role models can be incredibly valuable, especially when you're starting out on this path of self-discovery. It's like having a guide, someone who's been there before and can offer insights and support along the way.
It's like having a map and compass to help you navigate the sometimes uncharted territory of personal growth.
Exactly. And it's not just about finding mentors, it's also about being willing to be a mentor ourselves. Sharing our own experiences and insights can be incredibly rewarding, both for ourselves and for those we mentor.
I completely agree. It's about recognizing that we all have something valuable to offer and that by sharing our gifts and knowledge, we can make a positive impact on the world around us. It's about creating a culture of support and encouragement where everyone feels empowered to grow and thrive. But, beyond the practical aspects of mentors and habits, I think there's a deeper level to self-improvement that the text touches on. It's not just about achieving external goals or accumulating material possessions. It's about becoming more fully ourselves, about expressing our unique gifts and talents in the world. What are your thoughts on that?
I love that you brought that up. I think that's really at the heart of it all. It's about recognizing that each of us has a special contribution to make, and that by embracing our authenticity and sharing our gifts, we enrich not only our own lives, but also the lives of those around us.
It's about finding our purpose, our passion, our place in the grand tapestry of life, and recognizing that our journey of self-improvement isn't just about us. It's about contributing to something larger than ourselves. But that can feel overwhelming at times, can't it? How do we even begin to figure out our purpose or what our unique contribution might be?
I think it starts with self-awareness. It's about taking the time to really get to know ourselves, our values, our strengths, our passions, the things that light us up and make us feel alive.
It's about connecting with that inner compass and trusting that it will guide us in the right direction. But sometimes that compass gets a little fuzzy, doesn't it? What are some ways we can clarify those inner signals and really tap into what truly matters to us?
I think journaling can be a powerful tool for self-reflection. It allows us to process our thoughts and emotions and gain clarity on what we truly value.
It's like having a conversation with yourself on paper.
Exactly. And spending time in nature can be incredibly grounding and help us connect with our intuition. Sometimes when we're bombarded with noise and distractions, we lose touch with that inner voice.
It's like hitting the reset button and allowing ourselves to simply be present in the moment.
And don't underestimate the power of meditation or mindfulness practices. Taking even a few minutes each day to quiet the mind and tune into our breath can make a world of difference in terms of clarity and self-awareness.
It's about creating space for stillness amidst the chaos and allowing ourselves to just be. But, even when we have that clarity, sometimes we get stuck in our own limiting beliefs or get bogged down by fear and self-doubt. What advice would you give to our listener who's maybe struggling with those inner critics?
I think it's important to remember that those negative thoughts are just thoughts. They're not facts. We don't have to believe everything our minds tell us.
We have the power to choose which thoughts we give our attention to and which ones we let go of.
Exactly. And it's about challenging those negative thoughts and replacing them with more positive and empowering ones. It's about recognizing that we are capable of far more than we often believe.
It's about giving ourselves permission to dream big and then taking those bold steps to make those dreams a reality. But that takes courage, doesn't it? It's about stepping outside our comfort zones and embracing the unknown.
It does, but I think that's where the magic happens. When we push past our fears and embrace those challenges, we discover a strength and a resilience we never knew we had.
It's about recognizing that growth and transformation often happen outside of our comfort zones.
Absolutely. And it's about celebrating those small wins along the way. Every step forward, no matter how small, is a victory worth celebrating.
It's about acknowledging how far we've come and giving ourselves credit for all the effort and courage we've put in. Well, I think this has been an incredibly rich and insightful conversation. We've explored so many facets of self-improvement, from the practical to the profound. As we wrap up this deep dive into these 10 powerful habits for unlocking your potential, is there any final message you'd like to leave our listener with?
I would say this. Embrace the journey with a sense of curiosity, compassion, and a willingness to learn and grow. Self-improvement is a lifelong adventure, and it's one that's filled with incredible rewards.
I love that. It's about approaching this journey with a sense of joy and wonder, recognizing that every experience, every challenge, every setback is an opportunity for growth and transformation. It's about becoming the best version of ourselves, not just for our own benefit, but for the benefit of everyone whose lives we touch. Thank you for listening to the Speak Smart podcast. We hope you found this deep dive into the 10 daily habits for unlocking your potential insightful and inspiring. Remember, the journey of self-improvement starts with a single step. What will you choose to improve today? Subscribe to my channel and like the video.